Welcome to page 193 on Wednesday, June 3rd, 2020. Page 193. Don't forget that in your title. So the first word is this is going to be a very, very interesting one. Okay, so I want you to skip down to number 3. It is the word recipe. What's the word? Exactly. Ingredients that go into a recipe. A recipe is like a method or a process. It's instructions or a program. This is what you have to do to create this. Okay, like especially with cooking. That seems to be the most common one. But think about a recipe for success. You need a plan, you need determination, many, many things. Okay? Recipe. Let's go. Recipe. Recipe. Okay, so let's go. First syllable, re. Second syllable, si. Third syllable, p. Recipe. All right, so we have two things to mark up. Let's go. We don't say recipe, we say recipe. First sound, underline the E. The E can say E at the end of a syllable. That is rule 4. That's right, one of the few words like maybe and recipe, that apostrophe, catastrophe, very few words in English end with an E that actually says E, but the most common ones, which is common is a spelling word that we're going to have today, is maybe and then recipe. Now, the word that comes from the word recipe is the word receipt. What's the word? Receipt. Exactly. When you purchase something, you get a slip or a stub, right? A record of your purchase. A receipt can be a certificate or a voucher. It can be a letter or a notification, a notice. It can also be a check. Here's a receipt for this, right? Now, here's why it comes from the word recipe. I'll explain in a second, but let's do the word receipt. Okay, we say receipt, but we spell it receipt. Okay, let's go. Receipt. Receipt. We use the AE that cannot be used at the end of a word. Let's go. Receipt. Receipt. And we have 3 things to mark up. So let's go. Underline the E, and underline the P twice, because we don't say receipt. Okay? And this is the AE, that's the second sound. The E can say E at the end of a syllable. Let's just put rule 4 up here. Now, you have to think about this. Why would recipe and receipt be related? It's not just because of the P. Receipt has the P because a receipt used to be called a recipe. Now, where did people in the old days and even now write down recipes? On a slip of paper with a bunch of information or numbers or ingredients or things like this. Okay, here's the recipe. Here's the receipt. Here's the receipt. Eventually, language to language, culture to culture, the pronunciation changed, but it does retain that P, and make sure that you underline that twice. Now, when you have a receipt, right? That's a proof of a purchase. That means you receive a receipt, right? You receive it, you get it, to acquire it, to accept or collect, to obtain or to gain or to earn. It's like, think about a payment, right? I receive your payment. I'm in receipt of your payment. I've received your payment. Receive. Let's go. V silent E. Receive. Let's go. And it is related to this, except there's no P. Receive. Okay, so first syllable, second syllable, receive. Whoops. Okay, so we have 4 things to mark up. Let's go. Underline the E, the V, and the silent E twice. Job number 2, and also second sound over here. The E can say E at the end of a syllable. That is rule 4. What do we do with all 3 of these words? Triple brace. So these are all related to each other. Again, I'm in receipt of your letter. I have received your letter. Okay, but when we purchase things, we get a receipt. That's a record and proof of our purchase. Always save those receipts. So the next word, we are going to skip down to number 5. It is the word deceit. What's the word? Yes, deceit. Lies, dishonesty. The deceit that he tried to, the deceit was devastating to his life because he tried to get away with the lie. Deceit is trickery, dishonesty, lies. Okay, deceit. Let's go. Deceit. Deceit. We use the AE. That cannot be used at the end of a word. That is number 5. So let's go. Deceit. Deceit. Okay, so how do we mark this up? Underline the E and the E. And second sound. The E can say E at the end of a syllable. That is rule 4. And I see a rule here. Exactly. Good old rule 2. Soft C when followed by Y, I, or E. His deceit cost him his friendship with his best friend because he lied to his friend, and his friend never wanted to be around him again. Okay? Now, going back up to here, it is the word right over here. When you engage or you are active in deceit, they call you deceitful. 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 Literally full of deceit. Okay, and remember with the suffix full, we chop off the second L. Let's go. Deceitful. Deceitful. Okay, so we have 3 things to mark up. Let's go. Underline the E, second sound. Think about it. Kausu, third sound. Very good. And again, the E can say E, and rule 2. All right, now, here's what's interesting. When we are deceitful and we're full of deceit, and when you're trying to trick somebody, right, you are trying to deceive someone. For example, sometimes it could be harmless, like a magician, right? He tries to deceive you, or she tries to deceive you, talking to you real quickly, moving the hands quickly, and oh my God, you're mesmerized. On the other hand, to deceive someone is to be disloyal, is to go behind their back. All right, it's trickery, it's to try to fool someone, it's manipulative, it's sneaky, it's dishonest. You know, when you deceive people, you're a liar, or you're engaged in lies. And there's that great old expression, that old phrase, "Oh, what a tangled web we weave, when at first we practice to deceive." A lot of people think it's Shakespeare, but my memory serves me correctly. It was actually a writer named Sir Walter Scott. Shakespeare is often credited with that, but Sir Walter Scott actually came a little bit later. "Oh, what a tangled web we weave, when at first we practice to deceive." See, once you start to tell a lie, you don't know where it starts, where it ends. It's complex like a spider's web. Best policy, honesty. Okay, deceive. V silent E. Deceive. Deceive. Okay, so first syllable, D, second syllable, sieve. Don't forget to dot that I. All right, so, and then the fancy word, they call it deception, but that's for the 4th grade. Okay, so how do we mark this up? Underline the E, the V, and the silent E twice. Job number 2, and second sound over here. And of course, we have rule 4, and we have rule 2. And what do we do with these 3 words? Triple brace. All right, so let's go. Deceitful, deceit, deceive, deceives. Okay, recipe, receipt, receive, to acquire, which is a great vocabulary word, to get, to obtain, to collect, to earn. So continuing with page 193, the next word is the word common. What's the word? Excellent, common. And again, the common words that end in with the letter E, saying E at the end of a word, or maybe and recipe. Okay, but common is really just kind of customary, it's basic, it's kind of simple. This is a common way to solve a problem. It's customary. This is the way we do things, right? It's like an everyday, it's ordinary. It's more traditional in that sense. Nothing wrong with that. But very often common, how common, snooty people, they get so haughty. How common, ho hum, it's humdrum. Common, let's go. Common. First syllable, calm. Second syllable, mon. Whoops. And notice that we divide the syllable by the double consonant, and that's a common mistake that many of you make, no pun intended. You shall be nameless. Okay? So the next word, old spelling word, is the word secret. What's the word? Something that's confidential or private or restricted is secret. Okay? Secret. Secret. That is number 9. Secret. Secret. How do we mark this up? Underline the E. We know what that is. Let's write it in. Okay? Now, when someone likes to keep secrets, right? And sometimes it's more like in a sneaky way. We could describe them as secretive. Secretive, yeah. We all know people who are very secretive, right? Okay, so V silently. Let's go. Secretive. Secretive. So let's go. Secretive. Secretive. Okay, so how do we mark this up? Underline the E, the V, and the silent E twice. Job number 2. The E can say E. We got it. All right, great. Okay, so all right. And some scientists and inventors, Leonardo da Vinci, who was an artist, he was very secretive about what they do. They want to protect it. The Wright brothers wanted to protect their design. Leonardo was so secretive with some of his writings and his ideas, he wrote it backwards. Yeah, mirror writing. Yeah, secretive. Okay, didn't do that with his art though, that's for sure. Okay, and going back to the word secret, we're going to go back to an old spelling word, secretary. Okay, secretary. 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 Okay, like an office worker, an office manager, but again, we could use it more than one way. It's a furniture with drawers where you have secret compartments, okay, where you keep important papers. Secretary. Okay, so let's go. Secretary. Secretary. And by the way, political people, a Secretary of State. This is a very important position in our government. Okay, so let's go. We don't say secretary, so let's go. First sound, excuse me. And we can use it more than one way. You got it. It is a homograph. Oh, but Mr. Modell, we have to do that. No, don't worry about it. Take the challenge. What do we do with these 3 words? Triple brace. So we're going to skip down to number 12, and it is the word forbid. What's the word? Exactly, forbid. When you're not allowed to do something, someone will forbid it. For example, mom might forbid you to go outside before you've done all of your homework or to play your video games. To use an old spelling word, it means to prohibit, to not allow, right? Sometimes something that you forbid is outlawed. You disallow it. It's banned. You ban it. You exclude it. You block it. Okay, you pass over it. I forbid you to do that, right? You block it. People sometimes don't want to get out of your way. They're trying to forbid you from walking by. Forbid. Forbid. All right, so how do we mark this? I'm sorry, first syllable. For, second syllable, bid. I need a little more loop up here. Dot the I. How do we mark this up? Excellent. Underline the or. Can we use the word forbid by itself? Bid by itself. You got it. It is a compound word. Now here's where it gets fascinating. Compound word. We talk about, we haven't done this for a while. We talk about regulars and we talk about irregulars. Well, we don't say he forbidded me to do that. He forbade me. Yeah, forbade. Okay, it's very fancy language. Yes, it's very sophisticated, but that's true. It's an irregular. Let's go. Forbade. Forbade. Okay, first syllable, for. Second syllable, bade. All right, so how do we mark this up? 3 things. Underline the or, the A, and the silent E twice. Draw an arrow back. You know the rest. Okay, so now, what do we do with these 2 words? Brace. Let's go back up to the word forbid. Now, when you forbid something, we say it is forbidden. Forbidden. It's off limits. It's not for you. It's only for my eyes or who I choose to allow to see it, all right? We were forbidden from entering the room, but we did it anyway. Okay, forbidden. Let's go. Forbidden. Forbidden. So let's go. Forbidden. Forbidden. And again, how do we mark this up? underline the or. Notice we divide the syllable by the double consonant. So think about the word forbid. How many syllables are in the word forbid? 2. Excellent. So how many in the word forbid? How many vowels are at the end? There you go. How many second syllable? Good. How many vowels are at the end? 1. And the accent is on the second syllable. Forbid. The 2-1-1-2 rule. That is rule 12. Rule 12. And what do we do with forbid and forbidden? We entered the forbidden city. Marco Polo and when he arrived in China, he had entered the forbidden city, because at that time, you have to remember, China had built the Great Wall for many, many years, and outsiders like Europeans weren't supposed to go in. He was able to enter that forbidden city, and he survived. All right? And we'll learn more about him. I don't want to give too much information about him. Okay? So let's go. Forbade, forbade, forbid, forbid, forbidden, forbidden. Secretive, secretive, secret, secret. Secretary, secretary. And the last one, common, common. Basic, simple, customary. Every day, like a common way to measure things is in inches and feet. Okay, ordinary sometimes we'll describe it, even boring it could be. Okay, so you go to it.